Welcome to this Patreon Early Access exclusive episode of Conspirament. I'm your host, Gary, also known as Gary. That doesn't work quite as well the second time around. Right here with us, we had Benny.
We did. He disappeared.
Yeah.
The Mothman took him.
Yeah, his superhero name is Captain Marvelous Hair. I'm going to do this again because I want to embarrass you.
No, I like
and
it.
here we have Dan, also known as Mr. Nipples.
Yeah.
Still cannot laugh.
Mr. Nipples.
And Rob, also known as, what did I call you?
Smooth voice radio man?
No, Smooth Jazz Radio Voice.
Yes.
That's right.
I am definitely okay with that
Smooth
name.
Yeah.
Jazz Radio Voice. That's
Smooth
his name.
Jazz
That's his
Radio
superhero
Voice.
name.
Ironically enough, I hate the sound of my voice.
Really?
But I
Actually,
hear
to be fair,
surprises me. That actually
does
really
anyone
surprises
actually
me.
like their own voice?
well, I hear it differently from
There's
how
actually
everybody else hears it. too.
there's science behind why we don't like our own voices.
Because whenever I hear my voice, it sounds lower, and then I listen to a recording, I'm like, am I a 13-year-old kid or
Hey
something?
guys, I'm
Hello!
here.
I also have a voice that sounds muddy. Like, it doesn't matter what recording I have of myself, I sound like my audio is in the mud.
No, you don't.
Muddy.
What? You think so?
No, you don't. Yeah,
I think I do.
Your voice sounds fine.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
All right, so today's episode that we are recording in a friend's
I
basement.
mean, if my voice was a person, I would get with my voice. I'd be like, hey, what's going on, Rob's voice? You want to come back to my place for drinks?
You're just...
And then my voice would be like, oh yeah. You know?
Oh, yeah.
And
Rob
then
is just
I
sitting
realize,
at dinner with a voice
Yeah.
box,
Yeah.
and he says something and goes, track 1.
Yeah.
I agree.
He's
Thank
rehearsed.
you.
He's rehearsed it the whole time.
Yeah.
This whole conversation.
And we have an amazing night,
Yeah.
an amazing date, and then I go home, I wake up the next morning and realize I basically just kind of got it on with the dude because it's a dude's voice, which is
True.
a little worrisome
Yeah.
because then it kind of makes me wonder why does this dude have all the
Imagine
female
with
voice?
me, if you will, you're driving down the road in the middle of the night, middle of nowhere,
I would
just
never
minding
do
your
that.
own business. Really?
Funny story about
Yeah.
that, actually. When I was a kid in England, we did that, and we were in the farm area because that's
Yeah.
where my uncle lived, and we're going down, and the car starts going weird, and we kept seeing rustling in the I can't remember what crop it was, but we kept seeing this rustling, and then we go down in this dip, and we come up. We look behind us and there was something in the road. And ever since then, I will refuse to go on a road like that at night. Scared me to death.
Yeah.
I was scarred
I
from
can
that.
understand that.
You know what it was?
It was, I don't want to know, but it was probably some creepy person that was just lost and it was just weirdly timed.
That actually reminds me of a fact about myself. I'm legitimately more terrified, not like crippling terrified, but more terrified of being abducted by aliens in the middle of the night in the middle of nowhere than I am of anything else being in the middle of nowhere. So if I'm walking down the road in the middle of the night, I have more fear that I'm going to be abducted by aliens than I do of anything else.
Okay, well, go watch The Innkeepers, and then that'll change.
The innkeepers. I won't. Actually, I don't want that to change. I kind of like.
He likes
Yeah.
you know what, this is something that probably won't happen, so
Yeah.
it's okay
It's
for
a
it to be
safe-
the
don't
I'm
ruin my
scared of the
safety net.
most.
The Innkeepers was scary as hell. Go watch
So you're,
that.
you're
and
driving down
that'll
the
change.
road in the middle of the night, and suddenly in front of you, there's this creature, 7 feet tall, giant wingspan, red eyes, just standing there. You
So new fear.
Yes. You try to drive away. You're freaked out. What
Yeah.
else do? You drive away, and it starts flying next to your car,
Oh, God.
chasing you down. No matter how fast you drive, this thing is keeping up with you. Eventually, it's gone. You don't know where it is. But then in front of you on the road, it's lying on the ground like it's been hit by a car. It's just lying there. And then, out of your own sense of fear, you drive away again. You drive back in the opposite direction because you think it's a trap. I don't want to go out there. This thing is going to get me. So you drive away. The cops investigate that scene later, and they find this strange powder all over the side of the road.
Strange powder?
A strange powder, like from a moth.
Because when you know how when moths fly into something,
Yes.
there's that small imprint of them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a powder on the road. That's all the cops can find after you've reported this incident. That is exactly what happened in Point Pleasant. Where
West
is it again?
Virginia,
West
right?
Virginia.
West Virginia.
Point Pleasant, West Virginia.
Coal
There's-
mine in town.
Yeah. In 1966. So that is our topic for the day. It is the Mothman.
Okay.
And what's interesting about this conspiracy is that it's not really a conspiracy. There's no one person you can point to that you can say they're covering it up. This person's covering it up. It doesn't qualify as a cover up, and yet it's constantly associated with conspiracy theories. So what I'm going to do here is it's going to be story time.
Before you go into that, the funny thing is when you said that, my instant thought was, that that movie recently, the
Benny?
quiet one with
Where you
John
at, Benny?
Krasinski.
Yeah, the Quiet
I
Place.
think. Yeah, I kept thinking
Oh,
like,
that's right.
well, it's like that, just as long
see
as
the-
you don't have a bright light on.
I haven't seen it yet.
I totally
Oh,
forgot
I've
why
never
they were-
actually seen
oh,
it,
okay,
but I know
okay.
the premise of
Yes.
it. Of the thing has they have to
Because
be
it's a
quiet,
moth.
but because it's a moth, just keep all the lights off.
Keep
so
all
it
your
won't
lights
get
off.
attracted.
Hold on, what are you talking about?
You know, the Quiet Place.
Yeah.
Oh,
He's
dude,
equating it to
How
that.
they've got to be
He's equating
quiet,
it
and
to
I was
that.
saying if it was a
Yeah.
movie with the Mothman, you just have to make sure you don't have any lights on, so
Yeah.
the moth doesn't
Yeah.
get attracted.
Actually, the reason why they do that is because they believe they're chasing after the moon. Like the moon guides their patterns, and so a light to them is the light of the moon.
I actually
I
did
believe
not
it.
know that.
Yeah.
That's
But
awesome.
that kind of makes sense.
So that's why they fly towards it.
Because you
that's
also
their guiding
mostly
point.
see them at night. Huh.
Yeah.
So story time.
It is story time. This story actually comes from a website called The 13th Floor, written by David Ian McKendry. And Rob is actually going to read this story for us.
Ooh.
Oh, am I?
It's everything highlighted in gray.
Yay!
Let's listen to, what is it, sexy jazz radio voice?
Yes.
You added a word, but that'll work.
What did I add?
I hate that word.
Sexy?
I do. I don't like that word.
Why?
It's because he's a dad.
Well, that's a part of it. I just don't like it.
He's a dad
It's
of
like
a
not
daughter.
liking the word moist or,
So many people
Like-
hate the word moist.
or yeah.
We used to say that to my choir teacher. She hated the word moist and the word poop. So we would always say, hey,
Yeah.
I just had a moist poop.
Poop is
And she
fine.
would cringe like none other,
Yeah.
and it was hilarious.
Yeah, it's just one of those
Yeah.
words for me. I just don't like it.
Man, we had this one teacher in high school, was a music teacher named Mr. Turner, and he had dark hair and he had a white stripe that went down the middle. And they used to give him a hard time because they said he would look like Al Sharpton. And then there was one time we were like, somebody was walking, a bunch of guys were walking by the classroom, and one was like, Al Sharpton. And he got so pissed. He came like running up and like slammed the door shut. Miss Lovingood did the same thing because she drove a Porsche, and everybody used to give her a hard time. They'd be like, man, Miss Lovingood show got some good loving. And then like she'd come right up and slam the door. She'd get so pissed.
Oh
Story
my gosh.
time.
Yes, story time.
Okay. In 2002, Richard Gere starred in a horror film about a West Virginia town that experienced a strange number of supernatural sightings leading up to the collapsing of a local bridge. The Mothman Prophecies. Dun, dun, dun. The film
Dun dun.
was based on disturbing, real, otherworldly occurrences that took place in Point Pleasant, West Virginia from 1966 to 1967. That's 1 year. Still to this day, the numerous strange events and sightings of giant moth-like visitors go unexplained. Here is the actual story that influenced the film and the legend. On December 15th, 1967, the Silver Bridge, a suspension bridge connecting Point Pleasant, West Virginia to Gallipolis, to a town in Ohio, collapsed, killing 46 people. It's a lot of people. I mean, not a lot, but like it's a good chunk of people. Spanning the Ohio River, this I-bar chain bridge, built in 1928, met its fate during the rush hour as people were returning home. Why do I think beginning looks like returning? Were returning home from work, and families were going into town to begin their Christmas shopping. That's why, because it said begin. You walk in front of the camera one more time.
I walk behind the camera.
I'm in the middle of doing readings here. It's like being back in English class again. Man. Everybody read and follow along.
Oh, I
Rob,
hated
it's your-
that because I
Rob?
always had to read in advance so I wouldn't like stutter and be like,
Yeah.
Rob,
Yeah.
it's your turn.
Huh?
read.
I said
Can
it's
you
your turn.
please read
Yeah,
chapter
just-
3, Rob?
Oh, yeah.
All of chapter 3.
I was
That's a
once
mean
told that.
teacher.
Yeah, all
Yeah.
of chapter 3 by yourself.
Teacher,
Yeah.
teacher,
What's up?
can I go?
No.
No,
You
he's
just
reading.
went pee.
Yeah.
Take the hall pass.
Oh, man. The real mystery was the appearance of a strange visitor sighted several times by the citizens of Point Pleasant during the months leading up to the tragedy. This strange visitor was known as the Mothman. He represents the ghost of Richard Gere's previous good roles.
That's not in the story.
That's not a story. It's the ghost of what used to be Richard Gere's career. The Mothman first made it into the news on November 16th, 1966, when the Point Pleasant Register reported couples see man-sized bird creature something. Was that the actual headline of the
I
movie?
think so.
Okay, yeah, because that
Yeah.
sounds familiar. Point Pleasant residents, the hell was that?
I didn't do anything. What was that?
The Mothman.
The Mothman's
It's the
attacking!
Mothman.
We're the only ones in the office right now, right?
Yes.
Like, he was
Yes,
just not
we are.
hiding behind this
No,
wall.
he's
Is he?
not.
Yeah. It's like we said Candyman's name 3 times. And he's
Don't do it.
You might want to have a look over there real quick, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm paranoid.
Are you? Okay.
If we hear Dan shrieking,
If Dan doesn't come back,
Stuff like this.
what happened?
I don't know. That's why I hate it.
His
Okay.
response, guys, was I don't know.
I don't know. Continuing on with our story.
great investigative skills.
Sir, do you have any idea how this could have happened? I don't know. It's closed. Done.
It's closed. Send it to the X-Files.
Okay. The Mothman first made it into the news. Oh, no, we already said that. Okay. Point Pleasant residents Steve and Mary Millette, along with Roger and Linda Scarberry, were driving near the McClint Wildlife Reserve on West Virginia Route 62 when they crested a hill and came face to face with a creature they claimed was 7 feet tall with large red eyes and a 10-foot wingspan. Holy shit.
Oh, that's just Rob in the morning.
Yeah. No.
He trims his wings every morning.
idea.
Yeah.
There's like nothing on the floor.
Why, you like freaked out.
Because I have no idea.
Yeah. It's just the house settling.
This is why Dan doesn't play scary games
No, I
anymore.
hate this
Just wait
stuff.
until we talk about ghosts.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, God. See, that'll freak me out, actually.
We need to do it for,
I've
Ghost
been to the
freaking out.
Stanley
Ghost episode,
Hotel.
it has to be the only episode we do at midnight.
Yeah.
Oh, God. I mean, I really want to, but I don't. Because it would scare the hell out of me.
If you want it to be really scary, let's do that at the Stanley Hotel. Because I've been there, and there's weird stuff that happens that you
I will
would
make
very
the
much
arrangements.
be
We're
like,
doing it at an actual. We are doing an episode of the Conspirament. If we hit our goal at the Stanley Hotel
In room 13.
in
No.
room 13,
Or whatever room that is.
a legit
No,
haunted
not the
hotel.
one. Are you
Yeah.
talking about the one
The
that
one that
Jim
Jim
Carrey
Carrey
stayed in?
Yes.
And he left halfway through the night and refuses to tell anyone about
Yes.
what he saw?
That's the one we
Yes.
will go into.
If we hit our sub
No
goal,
one's
Skype
been
you.
able
We'll
to
Skype
Skype
we
it.
will do the episode of the
Skype
legit
you.
haunted hotel at midnight in the room that Jim Carrey.
No,
was
I really don't want to do that.
No, you will.
I do.
It'll be
No,
great.
I don't
Why
want
not?
Okay, if I'm with people, sure. But
Yeah.
like, we
All the
can't-
lights are on. We pull an all-nighter, play some Halo. It'll
Yeah,
be
no,
fine.
okay. We cannot leave
Yeah.
the room.
No, okay.
There's,
we
there's,
just-
there's none of this bullshit of, hey, like, we're all going to go to the bathroom. Let's meet back up in 5 minutes. No. Because
Yeah.
that's how folks start vanishing.
Yes.
Probably like, I'm the black guy, and that means I'm gonna
That's
die.
exactly it. Black folks don't live in those
Yeah.
Here's the trick. We put Ghostbusters on the TV. It'll scare him away.
Yeah.
If we can hit
Yeah.
our sub goal, then we'll do that.
I think we should do that.
That'd be a great
Yeah,
sub
I
goal
think
to
we
do.
should.
I mean, if we
We
really,
will do
like,
an episode
Yeah.
of the Experiment in the Stanley Hotel at night.
I think we need to
Dan
record.
made a great idea.
Yeah, I think we need to record
I'm
the
going to be
entire night.
conveniently having the flu that day.
we have to
Dan,
record
do
the
you want
entire
this to
night.
be your
Yeah.
new job? Experiment episode.
Not anymore.
I mean, dude, I don't know, man. Dude, that'd actually be, I mean, if we live stream it,
Yeah.
that'd actually be pretty fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We get so many views.
Yeah. Folks, like, well, they'd literally, like, it would be on Twitch and they would watch us just get, like, tormented by ghosts and die.
We'll do the episode there, and then we'll hang out the rest of the night.
That
there.
doesn't sound like
They'd,
fun.
they'd watch us get yanked into a parallel
Yeah.
dimension of just pain and suffering, and it would just be, it'd be awful.
All right, let's continue
It'd
with
be
this
like that, it'd be
episode.
like that.
though,
What was
we'll
that
work-
movie?
We gotta work out the logistics. Let's continue
Yeah.
this episode.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm trying to think of the movie with all that stuff.
I don't know.
Poltergeist.
All that stuff.
No, the one with
Poltergeist.
where they went through a black hole, came out, and the other side of the black hole was like hell.
Yeah,
Had the guy from Jurassic Park
Yes.
and Lawrence
You
Fishburne.
kept calling Horizon.
Horizon.
Event
Event
Horizon. Yes.
Yeah.
Horizon Zero Dawn.
Okay.
I keep calling Event Horizon Dawn.
Yes.
Okay.
The only movie to ever scare me.
All right, swerving around the creature, they attempted to turn the page, drive away. However, seconds later, they found the Mothman was back in front of their car. More frightened than ever, the two married couples headed back for town, traveling at almost 100 miles per hour. All the while, the creature cruised along the ground right behind them. Damn. And in some instances, swiftly soaring 50 feet above their car. Holy hell. Man, white folks, man.
Yeah.
As the car turned on a farm road, the creature once again managed to block their path. This time, see, this is why you need to carry a pistol or something, man. Just start shooting at it. This time, it laid in the road like a lump, resembling a dead dog, as though it were waiting for someone to step out of the car and investigate. Not wanting to fall for what may have been a trap, they backed up and made their way back to town. Later that night, they returned to the farm road, this time with a deputy sheriff. The lump in the road was gone, but they did find a strange pile of dust in its place. Yeah, that's some crap, man.
That's
creepy. It's
Yeah,
creepy.
this
Oh
is
my God.
some great, man. This is some straight up Stephen King stuff. Yet this wasn't the first time someone had actually seen this strange being. On November 12, 1966, now they're talking about gravediggers. Gravediggers working in Clendenin, West Virginia, claimed to have seen a half-man, half-moth creature flying through the trees just above their heads. In the coming months, reports of Mothman findings flooded local papers. Many citizens reported hearing noises outside. When they went to investigate, they found the creature's red eyes glowing in their flesh. Man, hell no. Oh, no, man.
So we're never going to West Virginia.
Yeah, man, see, this is some straight up white folk stuff, man. Like, oh, hey, guys, there's reports of a monster around town. Well, let's go investigate. Like, no,
this white guy voice.
Yeah.
It's like, well, let's
Because we
man.
all sound like that.
Yeah, like, let's get the hell out of here is what we need to do.
Although
man.
that's kind of what we're
Dave
saying.
Chappelle
Yeah.
show.
Where's the
Yeah,
scariest
Dave
place?
Chappelle.
Let's go
Yeah.
there.
I know. Actually, Rob,
Yeah.
you realize you just agreed to be on board that if we can hit our sub and Patreon and all hit
Yeah.
our goals,
You
that you're
did.
going to go stay in the Stanley Hotel.
Yeah,
a
okay.
known haunted spot.
Yeah.
Man, that's a terrible idea. I'm doing it for the fans. I would not do it of my own accord.
What we'll need to do, just for the record, we'll need to attach head cams looking at Dan and Rob's face
Yeah.
the entire evening.
Oh my God.
You guys would probably want
Dan
some earplugs, because I'm not going to be quiet.
Yeah.
Someone
Another
just
guy.
farts and you're like,
Yeah.
If we do that, though, we'll have to rent out a VW van and paint Mystery Machine on the side of it.
yep.
I just
Okay.
remember when I was there for when I was on one of the tours, because Kayla used to be a tour guide up there. There's someone that bumped into a chair, scared the crap out of me.
Really?
Because we're in the basement, it's all dark, and you just hear, come. Sorry. Oh, thank God.
All right, continue. Because
Yes,
continue. Monsters
do
throwing
the rest
chairs
in your
Yeah.
white guy voice, though.
No, I'm not doing it.
No, I like smooth jazz radio voice.
Some residents even blame the creature for their missing pets. One farmer told the Point Pleasant Register that his German Shepherd went missing just after some giant beast with red eyes was seen on his property.
God, German Shepherd, too. That's
Yeah, why he didn't shoot it on sight, I don't know. See, that's crazy stuff. Wildlife experts believe the sandhill crane to be the most likely culprit. Yeah. Glowing red eyes, the sandhill crane.
Hey, those cranes, man.
Yeah, however, it doesn't explain how the bird acquired a taste for dog meat or why the sightings of the mysterious Mothman stopped right after the bridge collapsed. This led many people to believe that the Mothman may have just been there to warn the citizens of Pleasant Point, or Point Pleasant. Let me tell you something, Moth people. If y'all are out there, you can't be running up on folks scaring the hell out of them. All right, that ain't how you warn people. You can't, you just, with glowing red eyes and stuff, man. Folks are gonna freak out and run. Well, black folks will freak out and run. White folks will go hunting for it. That's some crazy stuff. John Keel, who wrote the book The Mothman Prophecies in 1975, claims residents were experiencing precognitions and premonitions that the Silver Bridge was going to collapse. Some cryptozoology theorists even claim that the Mothman had been sighted before many more large-scale tragedies around the globe, even 9/11.
Wait, did they just say Mothman caused 9/11?
No, it's been before 9/11.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
It
I was like,
disguises
that's
itself
a
as-
weird conspiracy.
Yeah.
The Mothman portends like destruction.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now that part I'm familiar with.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's
Like
an
with the
omen.
Mothman, like destruction's not far behind.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because so the Mothman is an omen.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
To this day, the Mothman remains an unsolved mystery. I really want to make a joke about the show. But a mystery the citizens of Point Pleasant still celebrate once a year in September during the Mothman Festival. See, that's what I'm talking about,
I was
man.
afraid of the dark.
Yeah, they make a
White
a
folk
festival
stuff.
now.
Yeah.
For Mothman.
Let's celebrate a
Well, let's
monster
go.
that wants to kill
That
us.
could be another episode of this
Yes.
show.
They have a
Rob, we're
statue.
going to the Mothman
Okay.
Festival.
I mean, okay, now that it does kind of sound cool.
Yeah, they actually have a statue in that city dedicated to the Mothman. It's a Mothman.
Do they pray to it to keep the Mothman
No, I don't know.
happy?
But
No,
What's
but
this?
they surround it with lights.
Wait, we're going to go to West Virginia to go see a Mothman statue?
yeah. Point Pleasant.
I'm on board.
Only in a place.
Here's my question. I don't want to end
Yeah.
up like Christopher Lee in The Wicker Man. All right, I don't want to be sacrificed to the Mothman.
What is that one? What's the not the beast?
Yeah,
What was that?
that's the Wicker Man remake.
Okay, yeah.
No, I don't know.
The one with Nicolas Cage was a remake of the one with Christopher
Right.
Lee. So
Okay.
yeah, Christopher
Great.
Lee's the original, and it's better because it's Nicolas Cage. They've been. I mean, not the Nicolas Cage one is better. The Christopher Lee one's better. The Nicolas Cage one's
That's
sucks.
clarification. I really appreciate that you did that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They've even erected a statue in the middle of town, the Mothman Museum, making Point Pleasant a great stop on your next road trip. Yeah, Point Pleasant's where you go if you want to be abducted by a Mothman. That's
Moth people? We don't assume the Mothman's
Great.
gender.
Yes.
So that is the story.
The
I identify as a
gender-neutral
Mothman.
giant moth.
yeah.
You
So
don't
that-
know what he is,
Yes.
or she is, or
That-
it is.
and that's
Don't
what we're
assume it's
leading
gender.
into. That is the short kind of abridged version of the account.
I always
of
I always
first
enjoyed the
Mothman.
movie. Like I always enjoyed the Mothman movie. It wasn't the best one, but it was pretty interesting.
Yeah. What are your guys' thoughts on the Mothman?
Scare the crap out of me if I saw that.
Do you think it's okay? Does it fit?
I wouldn't get out to see it. I would run over that shit.
So you're saying that deep down you're just a black guy. Like you and Rob are like, we out! And me and Gary are like, get the
That's the way.
flashlight.
Then yes,
flashlight.
apparently I'm black.
I saw this on Super. Benny's like, I saw this on Supernatural.
I would not even question this. I would be out of there.
Dude,
I wouldn't even turn
Yeah.
around. I'd drive over that thing and be like,
Yeah.
maybe even put it in reverse, drive over it again.
No, see that's the thing, man. Cedric the
Double
Entertainer.
tap.
Cedric the Entertainer had a really great stand-up routine, or a stand-up point about that. He said when it comes to like huge events, when you have a whole bunch of black folks getting together, he's like you have enough black folks, they don't even know what's going on. They just have to see people running in a direction, and everybody will just start running with them. You know, it's like we don't even know why we're running, but we're running. Like,
You just missed what Gary said. So you two are running away from it.
Yeah.
Apparently Gary and I turned into Supernatural.
Yeah. I'm
Get
being
the
your
salt
Sam.
shotgun,
Yeah.
Gary.
The salt shotgun.
Yeah.
I mean, okay, going based on that story and
Dean,
the
by the
legend
way.
behind it.
No, I'm Dean.
I'm Dean.
You can't be
I'm
Dean. I'm
Dean.
Dean.
I'm Dean.
No, how
Yeah.
are you Dean?
Benny has too big of a boner for Dean to not be Dean.
Dean is my man crush.
You're a
Really?
redheaded woman.
There's two men that I would go gay for. It's The Rock and Dean. And it has to be Dean, the fictional character. Not
Okay, yeah, I would go get it.
I won't.
Yeah, I would
Don't
do
let
that.
me stand in your way. That got weird.
Yeah. Yeah, if Dwayne Johnson walked up on me, he's like, "Hey, Rob, you want to come back to my room, find out why they call me the Rock?" I would be like, "Yeah, sure, man,
saying,
yeah,
like,
sure, we can do that." Like,
you know what?
Okay.
Never really considered it before, but I'm on board with this.
Yeah. It's like, I mean,
Rock my world, Dwayne.
Oh my god. I wonder how many people say that to him.
Oh,
right.
like,
Rock
after
my
a while, I'd
world.
be like, man, next person, like, I would make an Instagram post. The next person who walks up on me and says, "Rock my world," I'm gonna put their head through a wall.
Okay, hold on. Wait,
That's
I'm
like
getting-
people
okay.
who tell
I
me
get
to
it.
say,
50
"Am
Cent
I
now?
ready to
Here we go.
rumble?"
Yeah.
I need like a
Hold on, I'm
whip
Sam
or
now.
something to crack.
Okay, never do that hairstyle.
No.
Jesus.
You're like goth Future Trunks.
Yeah.
Cut that out of the video. We don't even want that
never
anywhere near
happened.
this.
This
I'm
never
God,
happened.
future
This
Trump.
never happened.
Yeah, he's Future Trunks. He's so misunderstood by all the current Super Saiyans in the present
Yeah.
day. Yeah.
Guys,
Okay.
Yeah.
my dad
So-
won't
So
let me
if
take
I
my
saw the
shit off.
Mothman,
If
I
you
would
saw
bring the
Mothman,
Rock.
You would bring the Rock.
I
Dwayne
would
Johnson,
feel like, yes,
who I think would be pretty freaked out.
as long as he
like
had
I
a
know
rock
he's
as
the
well.
Rock.
Oh,
I know he's
I'd
the
love
Rock.
to see. I'd love to see the Dwayne Johnson. Like, I would love to see
Yeah.
that. Take Dwayne Johnson to like Waverly Sanatorium in Louisville, like
Yeah.
arguably the most haunted place in the world,
Yeah.
or in the United States. Like, take him there, and he's just like, oh, and he just
Yeah.
goes running out of the place
Did you hear Dan though? He wants the Rock with a rock.
Yeah.
with the rock.
That way, if the Mothman showed up, he'd go, "Rock!" with a rock. And I'd
Rock
say the Rock
smash.
just rocked him.
Right, that's so meta. Wow.
Yeah.
That's
Right.
yeah.
So anyway, you were saying?
So the
Benny,
Rock.
what do you think?
Have him do like the
I
people's
think the
elbow.
Mothman
Yeah.
prophecy sounds really intriguing. I've
that's
always been a fan of the concepts of people that can see things like Nostradamus and all those.
Yeah.
Like the omen that something is coming, something terrifying.
Yes.
I've always liked that kind of a thing.
It usually does come with that voice. Too.
Yeah.
Oh, Nostradamus sounded exactly.
Yeah.
The bridge will crumble. 9/11 is bad.
No one would be scared of that.
9/11 is bad.
Yeah, no
You're
one would be
right.
scared of that.
Yeah.
They would just say, "We saw some wild guy on the road. He's just,
Yeah.
just go
I-
check on him. I'm
Yeah,
worried."
this
The-
crazy asshole in the New York subway talking about how, like, 9/11 was
Trump will be
bad.
elected.
The end times are upon us.
It's the end of the world.
So yeah, given that story,
given the story of the
do you
driving,
think?
honestly, the driving and then something like coming and it looks on the bottom of the road, I could convince myself it was a shadow of the car or something like that. Like I
Okay.
could convince myself of something legitimate. Even if it wasn't true, I would convince myself so
Yeah.
that I wouldn't die from horror. But if all of a sudden it's flying next to you and then in the sky, I don't even know what I would do because
Yeah.
then it becomes the thing of I can't drive anywhere without this thing not being able to catch up in some manner.
Hey Dan.
It would be one of the most frightening things.
Yeah.
Hey Dan.
Yes.
Jeepers creepers.
Oh my God,
That
I
is a
love you.
I
terrible
would,
movie.
I
That
would
is a
sing that
terrible
to
movie.
myself
No,
to try
it's
and
not
make a
terrible.
joke out of the
The
situation.
first one was amazing. I love Jeepers Creepers.
Oh my gosh.
Anyway,
Jeepers
What
Creepers.
he described
yes.
reminded me of that movie where
Yes.
they're like trying to get
Yeah.
away and Jeepers Creepers is like, ooh.
See,
So
I'm the kind of person that in a situation like that, I would start like singing Ghostbusters in my head or out loud. It's like when it's like the people who saw us stream Outlast 2 when I had to run through the forest, and to be able to do it, I sang the theme song to Danny Phantom, and it was the only way I could get through it. Because without it, I was going to scare myself too much. And
did you ever watch
having that strangely helped?
Did you ever watch Day 9's live stream of Amnesia on Halloween night? Oh, it's hysterical.
I can't even watch anything related to scary
there's
games.
There's one point where he's running from the monster. He was like, yeah, man. He's like, I'm a man. He's like, if I get angry, then I don't get scared. You know, and
That's true.
He's terrified.
That is the most accurate thing. If you start getting angry, you're less scared.
Yeah.
And I would actually do that too. I would start getting violent and angry to be like, I'm not scared. I am not scared.
You guys have seen me doing Brandy? I'm just like, come here, Brandy!
Exactly.
I think they're all so scared of the Mothman right now, they're getting off topic.
Oh, yeah, because that's why we're off topic.
Yeah.
That's why I'm off topic.
Okay. So what if Mothman is real? And if he is real, he, she, whatever it is real.
If he was,
why is there only one story? Solid story.
See, that's my stance. Like when it comes to the 4 people in the car, honestly, I think it's hysteria. Because like fear is infectious.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And so it's like, oh my God, we've seen something. Like one, I have a hard time believing the 4 people who are in a car and are that terrified that they're running for dear life are paying attention to how fast they're driving.
Sure.
That it feels like they're driving at 100 miles an hour, but they're not.
But let's also be honest. When you say 100 miles an hour, that's basic standard of I was going way fast for where I was.
Yeah.
And
How fast were you going? I don't know, 100 miles an hour.
Exactly.
I was driving super fast. And then two, it may very well have been a bird or something like that, and they may very well have seen something.
Yeah.
But I think that for them, when that story gets told, you're talking about a small town, and rumors spread fast. And then it's like, oh man, we saw something, something's got to be here. Well, then it turns into the whole town, maybe not necessarily panic, but the whole town well, there's got to be something here. We got to find it.
See,
I also saw something.
I would be surprised if this actually happened and it wasn't a Mothman and it was something else. I wouldn't be surprised if it was an owl. Because an owl would be able to fly that fast.
And they have
it's
a
got the
huge-
wingspan. And if it's behind a car, the shadow could definitely make it look a lot longer, and it could easily be there. If you've seen an owl at night, their eyes do tend to glow.
They do, and that's one of the explanations. And I've actually encountered an owl at night, flying in the middle, and just
they're scary.
They're scary,
and
they're
silent.
Yeah, they're silent, and they're big.
Their
wingspan
They
is
do
huge.
not look like it either. So it would be very easy for them to kind of disappear.
Yeah,
because the second their wings are around, you're like, are those leaves or is that what is that?
Right, I used to work at a pretty big church, and I was on custodial staff, and it was kind of not really in the middle of nowhere, but there's a lot of farmland around this church, and so there were a lot of bats and owls, and the one time I encountered an owl scared me more than all the bat encounters.
Oh yeah,
that I ever had, because bats are they're like birds.
Plus, you also hear them a lot. You hear
them. The owl, though,
don't do that. That was creepy.
That freaked me out.
Wasn't that kind of the noise that they make, though?
So
that makes me think Mothman.
What? So what do we think?
Here's what we're gonna do, guys. Hold on. I got an idea.
Okay. What's your idea?
Don't tell Rob when we do this. Let him because Rob forgets everything 2 days later.
Yeah.
So one of these episodes, we'll all leave. Just have Rob down here alone. Dan will be hiding behind that wall, and he'll just start that noise. And Rob won't remember what it was.
Yeah.
See, that wouldn't freak me out.
Actually, we'll dress Harbinger up in a Mothman costume. And
so you have to catch
scares
me,
all of us.
You have to
every
catch me in the
time.
right frame of mind in order to terrify me that bad, or I have to be put in a situation where I expect things to be freaky.
Remember the time you showed up at the house and you thought the end of the world had happened because nobody was here for you?
Yeah, you guys all vanished, and it turns out you guys went over to the freaking lake and you were playing Pokemon Go or something.
This actually
the
reminds me
vanishing.
of that one time where I'm not sure if you were. I think you were. There was at least 3 of us here, and we were in the office, and we just hear this, and we had no idea. And it turns out that it was the shower rod, and it fell and broke.
Yeah,
but
I
we
was
were
here.
all just like,
that was when we first started talking
we
about
must have been
conspiracies.
you.
Yeah, I was
and
here.
it's scary because it was conveniently when we were talking about
doing conspiracies.
scary stuff, conspiracy. Oh my gosh.
Okay, so I have another question for you
but yes,
to get us back
Mothman.
on topic. There are countless stories and tales about like men with wings and glowing red eyes in human history, ancient history. Are they related, or do you think that this is just a very common, easily conjured image for humanity?
The red eyes at night.
Red eyes, wings, all of it.
I wouldn't be surprised because whenever it's something at night, everyone's eyes glow.
No, I agree.
Like,
That's when I saw
if
the
there's
Beast.
light on it, everyone sees that, and a lot of time people relate it to red because if you take a picture of someone with glowing eyes or a cat with glowing eyes, it's almost always red or like green or something. And I would be surprised if it was they see the shining eyes and the fear in them turns it red.
Okay.
I kind of could see that as like an explanation as to why that is. Because a lot of the time, it can be like you may hear something and you look out and it's a raccoon. Because raccoon eyes glow like
it's been
none
proven
other.
that recollection is extremely unreliable.
Especially when you've
Yeah.
got that adrenaline and that fear
Yes,
in you.
absolutely.
Yeah, recollection is unreliable even within an hour after having seen something.
absolutely.
So yeah, it's not. But I mean, there's something about like red glowing eyes that are kind of like a primordial fear, right?
Yeah.
Like demons and monsters.
Exactly.
Like
Or
a,
you
like
in
a
the
really good
morning.
example, or me in the morning.
Yeah.
No, a really good example in World War Z when they were talking about when they finally managed to make it past the
Movie
Rockies.
or book?
The book.
Okay,
When
good.
they finally managed to make it past the Rockies, yeah, the movie sucked. And then, okay, so you remember this when they had like the posts with the guard standing suit, and they were firing like the magnesium rounds,
Yeah.
into the heads of the zombies, and like their eyes would glow red when they burned out. And so like that thing right there, they were like, it's the most horrifying thing to see because they're like, for a minute there, you've got a zombie walking towards you in the middle of the night with red glowing eyes while their brains are on fire.
Yeah.
And it's the craziest thing, you know.
Yeah.
But no,
Amazing
there's
book,
something
though.
about that, like wings, a human like a humanoid like build, red glowing eyes, like it conjures up images of like demons and
Yeah,
monsters
sure.
and things like
Yeah.
that.
Or like
So,
Satan.
Satan, yeah.
Anything supernatural.
Yeah.
Yes.
So here are the top explanations for. What do you
And I-
think? What do you think?
What do I
Real-
think?
real
I
quick
think the
before I
mall
get-
may be real. I told you
Yeah.
the story about when I saw the Beast in Rhode Island, right? I've never seen
Yes. Oh my God! It's one of the scariest stories he knows.
Okay, I gotta hear this story.
Yeah. Time out. Tell the
Wait,
story.
really?
Yeah.
I said, you
time
haven't
out.
heard that?
I have
you
not heard it.
He used to be a ghost hunter, basically, with his
Yeah.
friend Lewis,
So me
right?
and my buddy Lewis.
We need to stop being the same person.
If I'm gonna, I will say right
Yeah.
now, before he starts this story, if Benny ever starts a story with me and my friend Lewis, you know it's going to be a good story.
Really?
Okay, so me and my
every
friend
single one he
Lewis-
said is
Yeah.
hilarious.
Back in the day, when I tore my ACL in my leg and I was healing and I was getting workman's comp, we had months of money coming in with nothing to do. So me and my friend Lewis decided that we would go look for all the scary things in Rhode Island. Now, it was every night we'd go out and do these things. I go back to my PlayStation.
I mean, the
and
New
do
England
nothing.
area seems like it has some scary ass things.
Yeah.
Sure.
That's because where everything
Where
started
we grew
in
up,
America.
there's the vampire graves. Okay?
Man, fuck that.
I'm not even joking. These are women who are accused of being vampires. And you could go to these old, like, rustic churches from, like, the colonial era, and you'll see these old rustic graves, and we're driving around, and we're like, you know where we're going to go tonight? We're going to go to the vampire graves, and we're going to see if we can find ghosts.
God, man, see, man, y'all are some white folks. Man,
Brave.
yeah,
Brave.
man, y'all.
Okay, so,
are
wait, did you used to do these things too?
Well, not quite to that extreme, but there was definitely this passion for the supernatural that I kind of
Whenever
went
we get to
through,
the
yeah.
ghost episode, remind me to tell you the time that we broke into an abandoned insane asylum.
Yes, and the person, yeah.
That's a ghost story. Though.
Great.
Yeah.
You'll intro it.
Yeah.
The
so-
conspiracy
one-
cast could just have a whole
Yeah.
series of stories of me and Lewis
Yeah.
trying to find ghosts as kids.
Yeah.
Wow.
There was one day on stream where he told a large portion of the stories, and they're freaky stories.
Okay, so keep going
Okay,
with the
so-
story. Yeah.
The vampire grave.
So to top off that day, we were driving out. The vampire grave, the one that we wanted to go see first, was out in this town. I believe the town was Exeter, which is pretty much just nothing but woods and like a lonely house, and then
Sure.
woods and then a lonely
Sure.
house.
So they named it so that you should exit.
yeah.
They're trying to imply something.
And you gotta keep in mind, this is before GPS and all that stuff existed. So we've got
Yeah.
like chicken scratch on a notebook of like where
Sure.
the turns are to make it to this,
Yeah.
this vampire's grave. So we're driving
The
out.
tree that looks like the Mothman, turn right.
That tree is following us.
It moved. I thought we already turned right at that tree.
So we're driving down into the woods. No street lights, no nothing. This is just the front headlights of the car.
Okay.
Driving and was looking for this vampire's grave in this old archaic church, and we find it. Okay, we make it to this thing, and we parked the car, and we're like, vampire's grave. We found it. You know, we had to like walk through the graveyard. We're looking for the actual one, and it's like a half broken tombstone, and like it was a whole bunch of weird things. If I remember correctly, I think the tombstone itself had been removed because people were vandalizing it, trying to get grave rubbings because it's an old like crazy gravestone.
Yeah.
So we're like, okay, cool. We found it. Nothing weird happened. Let's go home. So we decide we're going to go home the same way we came. And we start driving. And a fog starts to lower. It's like midnight, 11, a big fog. And we're driving. And I'm like, Lewis, man, like we should be back by now. All else we see are woods and fog and woods and fog. We should totally be back. And he's like, yeah. He's like, did you take a wrong turn? I'm like, it's a straight street. I don't know how I took a wrong turn. We're driving. And we eventually get through the fog. And we end up at an old archaic church with a vampire's grave that we swear we drove away from. We end up right back at the exact same location, going through all of this fog and everything like that. Now it's like midnight, 1 o'clock, and we're both freaking the hell out because we're like, we totally went home. How are we still here? You know?
Yeah.
So then we're like, okay. All right, this is not right.
Right.
Let's try the other road. Maybe we just grabbed on the wrong road, and maybe that road looped around. Like maybe we just messed up, so we go the other way. We start driving down this road, and we're trying to figure out what's going on. Like there's still all this fog and all these woods, and we can't find our way out. And we just keep driving, and we're both kind of getting that panic mode. We're like, oh my God, what is going on? Where are we? And we make it out to what appears to be like a mainish kind of road. And it's heading out towards the highway. We're like, all right, we must have just taken a wrong turn. We don't know what the hell happened here. Let's just get out of here. And as we're driving along, Lewis freaks out. He's like, what is that in the road? And right in front of us is like this enormous, we just dubbed it the Beast, enormous animal-esque kind of a thing with glowing eyes just staring at us right back in the road. Come to a complete halt, thing doesn't even move. It's staring us down. And he's like, what do we do? I'm like, I don't know. Go faster. And I'm just like, thing skirted off into the woods. And we're like, what was that? We're driving in the fog with this big creature thing in front of us. We don't know what's going on. We get back to the highway. We must have passed 5 to 10 broken down cars the whole way back to the house. Yeah. And we get back to the house and we're just like, okay. We are never going to that vampire's grave again. And the next night we went to a different one. But that's
Man, that's some crazy
Not that
shit.
one.
You want to hear another good story? It'd probably be better for the ghost episode.
Save that one.
Yeah.
The mental
look, you can look it up. There, I'll preface this one
freaky.
though. There is a place out in there, the same place, Exeter. It's called the Lad School. And it is it was a school for the mentally challenged. Literally, I think at the time they just said for the mentally retarded. It was that old. They're going by the name.
Sure.
But they were known for abusing the patients. And then they just shut it down. And it is one of the most haunted places out there. And we decided, let's go break in at night. But
That's a good idea.
Man, the hell with
just a
that.
heads up, it has its own morgue. So I'll tell you that story another time.
No, I don't want to hear that story.
Yeah.
It's freaky.
I don't want to hear stories about like ghost insane asylum patients.
So, yeah.
We went like multiple times to that place.
I have to clarify. I'm a huge skeptic. I think, I think it's good to have a healthy skepticism. You weigh the facts. You weigh the how reasonable the encounter is. I believe Benny. I believe that story. I think there might be some validity to the Mothman encounters.
Now that I've gotten older,
because
we dubbed it the Beast. We
Sure.
grew it, but
Yeah.
it was probably something else.
Maybe.
But
the thing
bear
is,
or something.
I think
coyotes we have out there. But
I think even a skeptic can admit that there are things in the world we haven't explained yet, that we don't understand yet, and when we encounter them, we kind of take almost kind of a caveman approach to it because we don't understand it. It must be supernatural. It must be this. It must be that.
yeah.
So all that being said, these are the explanations, or the proposed explanations for the Mothman. One, that it's just a barn owl. 2, always go to aliens. That's aliens.
Couldn't warn against there. We know it.
3, it's the Thunderbird from Native American
Zapdos?
Native American mythology. Nice. So in Native American mythology, there's this thing called a Thunderbird. It's basically like it's just a giant bird, just a massive bird. One that it might be a mutant bird, a bird that just mutated, changed somehow.
Kind of like gigantism.
Yeah, something.
Like where it's an
some
unexplainable.
some kind of mutation.
How are they now 8 feet tall?
Right. Maybe there's something in the bird's eyes that make it just red when light hits it, like just deep red. Angel, hoax. Another one is that the entire thing is just a hoax. Faulty perception. A man literally with wings. Plane or flying object.
I'm a mutant.
Or the last one is my
Angel.
favorite. Just unknown. We just don't know.
Yeah.
This thing happened. People experienced it. We just don't have an explanation for it. What do you guys think? What's the most plausible
I
explanation
think that there was
for this?
something there,
Okay.
but I think it's a coincidence.
Yeah.
Because
okay.
what I think is there was a series of events that happened. Everyone, and after the bridge went down, everyone started putting it together as being related to the bridge.
Oh, it must be related to this.
Right.
Yeah.
And the only reason I don't believe that there is a Mothman is he has not come back.
True. Yeah, it's one story.
That's
One
what I mean.
collection
If there
of
was,
stories,
if this
yeah.
is one of those stories like Bigfoot, you hear
Yeah.
it across the world. That makes it a little more difficult to be like, well, no, I can just easily dismiss that because the
Right.
Bigfoot's been spotted all over the place. But a
Yeah.
story like this is like, well, he showed up once, and and as is the time and age where a lot of people didn't understand things to a degree that we do now.
Yeah.
That I feel like could very easily have been excused as, Rob, you saw something in the woods. You had a weird dream. The bridge fell the next day. Must have been a ghost trying to warn us.
You got to go like
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
movie
Yeah.
7.
Yeah.
Where he's
Yeah.
like, well, this relates to this. This adds up to 7. This relates to this. And this.
Oh no, you're thinking of the number 23.
23 is that
Yeah,
what?
seven.
There's
There's so many.
Number
23.
23.
Jim Carrey.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, Jim Carrey.
Everything
That
goes
one.
back to
that's
23.
No, it's number 23.
23.
23?
23. Okay.
23.
Yeah.
Mine's right,
No,
you're wrong.
seven
IMDb.
is the movie where like Kevin Spacey's the killer, the serial killer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There are so many movies that are
23
just
is
What's in the box?
23 is this idea that everything boils down to 23.
Yes.
It doesn't matter what it is, it boils down to 23.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is kind of faulty reasoning in a lot of ways because you can boil anything down to the number 23 if you try hard enough.
Or to the number 27. Or,
Yeah, he ends up
Yeah.
like losing his mind or going something,
Right,
something like
yeah.
that.
yeah, but doesn't it end up being like he was right?
I guess.
I think
Probably.
it was, but we'll talk about that another time.
Yeah.
I love that. I
Yeah.
really like that movie
So,
actually.
Dan,
But
Mr. Nipples.
I could see it being an owl
Okay.
that these people explained to their friends that might have turned into a hoax of like a kind of like how yours, it could have been a bear or a coyote. It could have
Yeah.
been something like that, but you dubbed it the beast.
Okay, can I stop
Like
you for a
in
second?
your
Can I stop you for a second? Right there in your ear is a hair that's running down into your, and it's driving me fucking crazy. And if you don't fix it, I swear to God.
we'll
All right, hold
bleep
on.
that out.
No,
What?
I don't know, right?
no, it's your
have to?
hair, like right here, right there. There we go. Thank you, God.
There you go.
It's been driving me insane. No,
It's like when someone has like a seed in their teeth.
no.
so
Now it's worse than before.
Okay. Yeah.
So I could see it being one of those things where it was an owl. It was dubbed the Mothman, and then people in town. I feel like it could have been something that people started to use it at. It was Nessie. It got people to go to that
Yeah.
town.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
It was
Tourism.
something
Yeah,
tourism.
that it was. This is what happened. It most likely was like an owl or a crane or something that could make sense of flying with a big wingspan, but they dubbed it the Mothman because they were scared. It was something they could not identify,
And
so they
there was
gave
a dust
it their own
on the ground.
Exactly,
some
they
kind of
did
dust.
it's
Yeah.
got to have been this, and then some other people heard it and they were like, I kind of like that. I'm gonna tell it to my friend and maybe imply because I want to look cool that it happened to me.
Yeah.
Then now the story goes, well, these two people saw it and heard it, and
Yeah.
like it just breathes.
It's like when you show up and I
spreads
try to
out.
one up you, and you'll be like, Benny, I found this great Pokemon on the way over here. And I'm like, oh yeah, Dan. Well, I found these 2 Pokemon on the way
Exactly,
over here.
and it's
I mean,
like
I know it sounds like I'm joking, but that's what I'm talking about. You're just constantly trying to one up each other, but then the story evolves.
exactly
Right.
And I think it could be something along the lines of that, where it just got given their own name. It was something that was just real, and then it just kind of blew out of proportion.
Okay.
Because going off of the "it only happened once"
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think, Rob?
I mean, I would
Sorry,
say
my bad.
Smooth jazz,
Gary, what do you-
smooth jazz radio voice.
Smooth jazz radio
What do you
voice.
think?
I would say it's more of like a Storm of the Century kind of thing. Right?
Okay.
Did you guys ever see that television movie?
I didn't.
Oh, Storm of the Century was so good. Linoge. It's super good. Like if you give me what I want, I will go away. You got to watch it. It's basically
Yeah.
a Stephen King book.
Okay.
But it's really good. It's like
Okay.
4 hours if you decide to split it.
Yeah.
up. But yeah, no, I think it's one of those things where like a handful of people may have seen something. You know, 4 people in a car may have seen something. They may have seen nothing and just got swept up with the fact they believe they saw something.
Or they
And
wanted to see
Or
something.
they wanted to see something,
Yeah.
and like the rest of the town caught it, and it was just kind of
There you go.
hysteria. Because
Yeah.
I mean, it's there's scientific evidence to show that like the body does what the brain tells it to, and so like in issues of mass hysteria or like instances of mass hysteria with like medical reactions and illness, like there have been times where people who were not sick develop symptoms of an illness because they believe they have it,
Yeah,
and the mind
hypochondria.
gives like the mind makes the body show symptoms.
Psychosomatic.
Yeah, psychosomatic. So,
Yeah.
like, I mean, I think that it's one of those things where fear kind of caught hold, and then it was like, well, it had to have destroyed the bridge. That's the reason why, you know, and that kind of a thing. I mean, I think it's just
It was
Sure.
the engineer that spread it because they were like, "Oh crap!
And now
I
that
know
people-
I screwed
right,
up
and
making
now that-
that. Well, let's put it on this
Yeah.
creature we
It was
can't
a
explain."
Mothman.
The Mothman.
You can't sue
the
me.
Mothman is a sign that something bad is going to happen. It doesn't actually cause that thing to happen.
yeah.
It's just
But-
it appears and you're like, "Oh crap!
Right. So
What is gonna happen?"
a conspiracy needs to be a cover-up of some kind. We're going to wrap this up here.
Okay.
It needs to be a cover-up of some kind. Do we see any signs that there's a cover-up here?
No, I don't.
No.
None at all.
I see more of whether
I see a town taking advantage of it to make a tourist
okay.
attraction.
Yeah,
that's
Okay.
what that's
Yeah.
what I would see.
it's
Okay.
a Nessie.
All right. So no Men in Black, no cover-up, no government
Because
conspiracies.
it's like
Yeah.
there's nothing even like violent or anything about it.
True.
It's
it
all
appears,
a-
except the dog that it ate.
Exactly. It's all an appearance thing, and you can bring people to go, oh, maybe you might see it if you come
Yeah,
stop
right.
by our town
Yeah.
in West
So
Virginia.
okay. So
Can't remember the name of
Mothman
the town.
is just mass assumption.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'll go with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I would
Okay.
say.
What are we going to talk about next time? What do you guys think?
I don't know. Are you giving us ideas?
I'm the host. He had the idea of me hosting, but somebody else taking over the conversation.
Why?
Occasionally, if one of us has a conspiracy we would like to talk about,
Yes.
Yeah, I do the conspiracy that we're actually living in the Matrix.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Actually.
Or the
that one's
Jersey
a really
Devil.
good
No,
one.
that'll be probably similar to the Mothman. I
It
think.
would be. It would be
Yeah.
very similar. Yeah. So,
I kind of like
We could revisit. We
potentially
could revisit
ghosts.
the demon Denver airport.
we barely scratched the surface of the Denver.
We
area.
well, no, Rob did not
Okay,
allow us.
I won't shoot
Yeah.
it down in the first 5 minutes. Yeah.
Exactly.
That's fun.
Let's revisit.
Because I am
DIA.
kind of curious to see like how far down the rabbit hole that goes.
Oh,
Yeah.
it goes. You didn't let us get into it.
yeah.
Weird.
I'm kind of
It's-
curious.
It gets weird.
It's a big hole.
Yeah.
So
what it
okay.
seems like.
Well, I will lead that discussion until we have somebody else who would like to discuss something else.
No, you're good at hosting.
Yeah.
But I gotta get used to like letting you host and I'm being like, and Rob, what did you think? Oh my fuck, yeah, I'm not.
Yeah.
That only hurt me a little.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I'm
It's okay.
trying.
You know, it's okay.
I'm becoming a better
It's okay.
human being.
Yeah. I'll just.
I haven't reached my final form yet.
He's close. He's close though.
He's
getting
close.
there.
He's getting close.
Slowly
I can
but
see it.
I'm
surely.
cocooning in hair right now.
Yeah, you're cracking along the edges a little bit.
He's gonna break
All
open
right.
a beautiful Mothman.
So beautiful. The Mothman was here all along. So that's, I guess, it for this episode. Any last thoughts?
No, I think we're good.
Yeah, this was a fun
All
one.
right, it was good. It was good. So again, that was the Conspirament episode. What 5, 6, something like that.
I don't
Now,
remember.
you can
Episode not number one.
right, not number 1. That's going to be the designation from now on.
Just every time. It's not
Next time, we're going to go dive into DIA again and get a little deeper into DIA and their massive endless tunnels. So I am Gary. You can find me over at Northward Films on YouTube. You can find that link below. This is
I'm Benny.
he's
I
Benny.
do comic book stuff.
Yeah,
really.
I do.
yeah.
Oh, you
I'll
should
talk
tell
about
me about
comic
that
books.
sometime.
I talk about comic books.
This
We teach you real good.
This is Betty.
teach you real good.
You obviously know who he is because you clicked on his channel, a video on his channel.
I'm Comic Story,
So,
and I want to have some saucy time.
Okay.
okay, Dan.
Wow. Saucy time.
I'm Dan, editor, producer for Comic Story, and I'm at Dan T Editor on Twitter.
Yes,
You're the primary Twitch host too.
I am.
yes, he is.
Yeah, and I'm Rob. If you could listen to God talk, he would sound like me.
Okay. Well, his ego has crushed us all. Thank you
Can't
for
fit on
watching.
this couch anymore.
Why are you going so huge?
Thank you for watching this video, and tune in next time when we talk about DIA. Thank you.